Yeah, my name's Jamie Chernick, head of the social media management team, overseeing the clients that we run our accounts for, but also doing a little bit of extra training and workshops and things, which I really love doing. Here's a picture of me from last week when I was clean shaven. And it's been a rough week, so I'm not sure what happened there. I'm not actually sure who these people are, but they were up for a photo anyway. So that's good. Only kidding, it's my wife and kids. That's Laura. I've been married to her for 13 years. And my children, that's a couple of years ago, actually. They've sprouted quite a bit since then. But Bethany's 10, Leo's 8 now, and Lucas is 5. So it's all go at home. And this was actually my first day, and I'd seen on social media that the State Social really loved donuts, so I brought some donuts in for my first day, and I reckon that must have knocked at least a month off my probation minimum, easily, just for doing that. So that was good. You got to do what you can really in life, I think, to get by. So that was a really brief introduction to me, but I've got a very short window of time, so I'm not going to talk about me. I'm going to talk a bit about how to do really, really engaging content and interactions for B2B audience. Now, what I'm going to share with you today are principles that you can then contextualize into your own situations, okay? Because everybody's got a different industry or sector or business, but these principles should be able, they are able to be varied into whatever context or even down to every post that you actually go to do. So it should be quite simple to do that. So here's I want to start by saying what not to do, first of all. And this is something that I call digital leafleting. And I found this as an ad on LinkedIn straight away, and it was a perfect example of what I would call a digital leaflet, right? Now, when I say leafleting, I mean, when you get something put through your door, it's nice and designed, and it's had a creative agency, spent a lot of time and money on it. But essentially, it is just a list of facts with no emotion or connection or social human interaction whatsoever, and therefore it doesn't really get much engagement. If you look at that, this one had 8 likes, but with a following of 62,500 people. Now that's not great. You don't need me to tell you that that isn't particularly great numbers. And I'd imagine that this post probably reached about 300 people out of the potential 62,500 people. Now, why is that? Well, basically we've got no social ness to it. When we think about social media, we think of 2 words, right? We've got the word social and we've got the word media, okay? And now in a lot of digital marketing, there is obviously social media comes under that, but there is a rush to go for the media side of things, which is what I would describe as this. Okay, here's my graphic, here's my infographic or whatever it is that I put together, my asset, and I just want to get my media out onto social media. But unfortunately, a lot of businesses, they forget that the most important word in social media is not media, it's social, okay? Because this is all about human interaction. It's a place where humans come together to talk with each other and to share what it's like to be human, and yes, even on LinkedIn. And so if you want to know what the basic key to social media is, it's be social, don't push your media. Okay, there is a time and place where that can happen, and you can obviously talk about your company, business and service, but if you are not being social to start with, then you are missing the point of good social media. And this is a prime example, and I could give you thousands and thousands more of not being social with your social media content. So what then does it mean to be social? What am I talking about? Well, after running lots of different accounts and creating loads and loads and loads of different content, and seeing other content work and not work from people that I have nothing to do with, I've come up with 3 principles for you that I think, if you apply these to any part of your content, you are going to be guaranteed more engagement than if you weren't to do them. All right, that's the promise that I can give you, and it is a promise and a guarantee. Okay, so what's the first one? Well, the first one comes under the umbrella of entertainment. Now, before you start freaking out, I'm not talking about all singing, all dancing, circus, high quality stuff. I'm not talking about extremely hilarious, side-splittingly funny content. what I simply mean by entertainment is something that makes you smile, okay? It could be as simple as something that kind of makes you smile, or it could be something that is genuinely funny, or something that's just really enjoyable to watch, brings a smile to your face, that kind of thing. Here's what I mean. This is a client of mine, Nigel, who is the MD of a large franchising group in the UK. We wanted to tell the story of one of his franchises, okay, called Call Quick. And actually the story is not particularly, it's not actually that exciting, dare I say it, okay, for the person who doesn't know anything about it, okay? And so then there are obvious facts that we need to talk about. So how do we bring a little bit of something to bring people to engage with? So we tell the story here. I'm not going to go through, I'm not going to read it out because we're short on time, okay? But essentially it started here, we did this, blah, 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 and now, you know, we're doing well. That's essentially the story. So what a lot of people would do is they'd stick their logo up, or they'd stick their kind of picture from last week on there. But knowing what people are like on social media, I said to him, if you've got a really, really old picture, you know, go find your oldest picture of Call Quick you can, knowing that there'd be one from the 70s, 80s, or, you know, early 90s. And what we're looking at here in a kind of gentle way is the key picture in this, as you could probably guess, is that amazing one from the early 80s there with the hair and the big glasses. And, you know, some of us remember that, some of us don't. Either way, great picture, and it immediately brings a smile, all right? And I can test this as kind of like an A/B testing. We did another story about one of his other franchises, and we put like a kind of a recent image. And when you put it together alongside this one, which had a kind of a nostalgic image, an entertainment value to it, this one did way better, okay? And I don't think it would have got its 54 likes, 27 comments, people talking about Call Quick. One guy even saying, I'm going to make sure I put all my business over to you guys and tell all my clients to go to Call Quick. I mean, that was a great little moment there of advocacy. It's trying to find that tiny little nugget of entertainment to add something to give people more of a reason to engage. Let's move on. This was just a throw. I'm showing you small examples because they're easier for you to grab and contextualize into your thing. This was something from a while ago where we got into our new office. We had a space at the back and we weren't sure what to do with it. And so we just did this really bad fudge Photoshop effort and say, let's put a hot tub in there. What do you guys think? And actually that got quite a lot of nice engagement and people talking with their bosses. Oh, should we put a hot tub in too? Blah, blah, blah. And it could have been quite a boring post, but because we tried in a kind of amateurish graphically way to be more engaging, more entertaining, it worked nicely. Here's another great example. This is Mark showing off on his unicycle in the office. He can do things like this. And I said, that looks dead easy. Let's have a go. It wasn't easy, is all I can say. And so that was a kind of a fun little thing. So we stuck it into a little GIF. And then we put that on social media. Believe it or not, that did best on LinkedIn than it did on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, anything like that. LinkedIn, people loved it. That immediately a guy put in the comments, he said, can we book a meeting because you look like the kind of social media agency that I want to work with. And we ended up with a meeting off one stupid post about me hurting my situation. And it turned into a meeting talking about contracts for his new social media, his new venture. So that was, you know, so this kind of stuff, it's not really that difficult. The second key I want to give you is inspiration, so entertainment inspiration. And this is really going for the emotional hook. Here is a quick post that actually Mark did that did really well. Again, led into leads, where someone in our team said that they'd stopped suffering from anxiety based on the way that we treated them at work, which is a great story. And so we shared that because it's a human element. Remember, it's social first and media second. So we go for the social elements. We talk about the humans that we're related to or close to or in our work. And where's the human edge, the human story? And just if you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure about my human stories, just remember this. Every one of you is involved in a business, and that product or service that you offer changes somebody's life even in a very small way. Everybody's product does that, from McDonald's through to Dunlop, to whatever, Nike, to whoever you are, your product or service changes someone's life in a small way. Here's another story. So one of our clients, he coaches CEOs. I was chatting with him on the phone and he said, I forgot to tell you, I'm a black belt, third dan black belt in karate. And he's 57 and he got third dan black belt at 54. I was like, wow, that's an amazing story. Let's do that on LinkedIn. And he said, why on earth? Well, that sounds like a Facebook post. I'm not going to do that on LinkedIn. I said, no, trust me, let's do it. And then, so here's how we tell the story about him getting to third dan black belt. And you're thinking, well, how on earth does that relate to business? Well, actually, his business is all about achieving things in business that you've always dreamt of. So the link was really, really clear. Marry it with some really, really great pictures, authentic pictures. Remember, this is people stories, right? Social first, media second. So social first, and then his story of his business second. And as you can see there, we ended up with 314 likes, 73 comments. It got seen by over 20,000 people. And hundreds and hundreds in his target audience of MDs, chief execs, and business owners. Opened up conversations that we were then able to go and speak about. A simple post about his karate that most people probably would think about doing on LinkedIn opened up doors for leads. And he was like, okay, and he's sending me now pictures of how, in planking, and he's doing yoga and all this kind of stuff, because he's now switched on to the idea of social stories that get and generate leads. Moving on, what's the next thing that we're going to talk about is adding value. All right, so if we've got entertainment, we've got inspiration, and now the third thing that's bound to generate engagement for you, and then be seen by a wider audience as a result, is adding value. What do I mean by this? I mean offering up advice, tips, hacks, hints, little bits of nugget of information that you can give away without giving the game away. Okay, so without relinquishing the need of training people because you've given up all your content. Little bits where people think, actually, these guys have got a lot of value to give. I'll give you an example. So what we do here is we have a blog, and typically we share one blog a week. And in that blog, there will be little nuggets of information about social media, perhaps some techniques you can use, or little features of a channel that you can use. And we give that away for free because we know, that actually there's far more to really understand in terms of becoming really, really expert in that. But we want people who follow us, not just to see us selling to them or to see us talking about, aren't we great? We want to actually give away and share some of the things that we've learned. Every month we have a social media roundup, which basically just charts and tracks all the latest features of that's happening in social media and big tech social media channels. And we pull all these features together and say, here's what's new on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Okay. And we give away all that stuff for free. Now, not only is that great for your SEO, if you share that on social media with your blog, it's just great for your audience, and they're going to be really, really grateful and look forward to posts and content that you put out. But it doesn't just have to be about your service, you see, or your product. This is a blog, one of our most popular blogs, which is questions to ask a social media manager so you're not getting ripped off. Okay, which is kind of an unusual thing for social media agencies to put out. But actually, we believe in that passionately, that we know that there are people out there, as there are in every industry, that do rip off. And we want to make sure that people don't get ripped off. Here's another one. I stole this from Mark. I'm obviously doing wonders for his ego this morning. But here's another great post that he did where we actually, we messed up in one of our campaigns. Something went wrong in our communications, and we said sorry to our client. And we offered them a free month because of what we discovered had happened. And we said, you can leave with us at the end. You can leave us at the end of that. And not only did they take the free month, but then they kept going for months afterwards as well as we sorted out our issues. Now, why am I sharing that? Why did Mark share that? It's because we want to give people, it's a little bit of advice of running your business. And actually it was great, and it really, really worked. Got seen by lots of people saying, actually, that's really good. And we want to be part of changing the culture around business as well, to a more ethical more and more ethical as we can get. And it's advice for business leaders, actually, to be open and honest, and it's good for your business to do that. So that was just a little sharing of advice that Mark did. So if I just quickly recap that content, we have being entertaining or making people smile, being inspirational, going for an emotional story, grabs people's emotions that they can be celebrate with you, adding value where you're giving away free hints, advice, tips, wherever you can. And I also just want to talk just for 1 minute about interacting B2B, because this actually, if what I was talking about before is our air war, okay, this is our ground war, right? And then you need both to win a war, right? And if the war is getting leads, this is key as well. So what we do is we interact with people that we are our target audience, potential customers and clients, on behalf of clients, and we do that in order to get leads. And it is very, very powerful B2B to do that, because it won't just be your content that does it, it's this too. So here's a client of ours, Matt, who runs a cleaning company called Radiant Cleaners, who pay a living wage for their cleaners. And we basically generate leads for him on a weekly basis. And we are generating around 5 to 7 leads a week. And he doubled his spend with us because of the amount of leads that we're pulling in for him. And all we're doing is finding people and talking with them. Okay, and it's leading to so many coffees that he's running out of time in his calendar, virtual coffees, that is. So we're doing that. So here's an example of one where actually, this guy was just for a little house, but we will personalize a message. We will try be non-selly as possible, and we'll just chat with people in an authentic way. And actually, we're finding that it really, really leads to leads. And this guy's had so many, he doubled his spend with us. And here's an example of us doing it, but this time on Twitter. This guy is a financial planner, and we were searching around for financial planners talking about finance plans or whatever it is that they talk about. We found this guy. We weren't connected or following him, and we said, interesting you say that. We're strong believers in having a robust strategy for actions on social media. Would you be interested in chatting further? And he said, sure, drop me a line. That led to a DM, which then said, are you free on this day, we'll have a Zoom. And then he signed up for a 6-month full contract with us, managing his social media accounts from 1 tweet. And that's because we actively went out to find these people. And we do this day in, day out, actively going out to find people who we can interact with and engage with for our clients and for us as well. And it's called interacting, and it's being social, and it's chatting, okay? And it's about, because remember, social media is social first and it's media second, because if all you do is push out your media or your leaflets through people's front door, as it were, as they appear on their phone, on their screen, then what do you do with leaflets? You pick them up and you put them in the bin. What do you do on social media with a leaflet? You scroll on by, like that first example. If there's no human story and there's no entertainment, emotion, inspiration, or if there's no value being added, people will scroll on by. So there's my advice for you today for B2B content. Don't digitally leaflet, all right? Make sure you can try and be entertaining, inspirational, or providing value in your posts, and you will get engagement, more engagement on your posts, and that will lead to more and more conversations, which could end up leading to leads in the end.